Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, let's start with the first game that is being played, and that's Saturday afternoon. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to the Houston Texans. The Chargers rank fifth in scoring offense and first in scoring defense. The Texans are 19th in scoring offense and 14th in scoring defense. Why don't we start with you, Chris? Let's look at the home team because they're kind of like, the favorites. Every home team is kind of the favorite going into the matchup. They're the higher seed. What do you think the Texans need to do in order to maybe win this game and defend their, I was going to say home field advantage here in the first round?
First of all, I guess it makes sense what you said if they're the favorite as the home team, but I really don't think they should be because I think the Chargers are a much, much better team than the Texans.
Agreed. Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing they need to do is get Joe Mixon going again. I don't know if he just hit a wall with his conditioning or if he's got some nagging injuries or whatever. But I was looking at his stats, and starting with the month of December, December 1st, he had a 101-yard game. And since then, he's had 23, 57, 26, and 23 yards over his last four games. He was, when they were relatively better at the start of the year, he was getting 125 to 150 yards just about every single week. And that's completely dried up. And their offense has died. They've had a lot of struggles anyways with injuries. But I think the biggest thing is going to get him going, try to get him up to 20 carries. Hopefully he gets over 100 yards, control time of possession, keep Justin Herbert off the field.
Yeah, I think that's important as well because that's what, like you mentioned, that's when they were had their most success. Anything to add, Clint, to that assessment for the Texans?
Yeah, got to run the ball, but also we thought last year the Texans offensive line, it was bad because of injuries. This year they've been healthy, and they're still bad. So they got to keep Mack and Bosa off of Stroud. He's really struggled this year with the dirty pocket when he gets guys near him. So they need to run the ball would help, but they got to give him 2.5, 3 seconds to throw the ball. Otherwise, I think this game is going to get ugly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anything else to add, Rowan, for the Texans?
Yeah. I don't know if it was said. My internet cut out like 17 times right there. Um, Going along with Chris, just getting Joe Mixon the ball, and just not getting behind in the scoring where you have to rely on the passing game because CJ Stroud has just not been even accurate. So you just can't rely right now to pass back into the game.
Yeah, and they lost a lot of their weapons as well. Like Dell is hurt. Collins, I think, is back though, right? He's still healthy, right? He's going to be
Yeah.
healthy for the game, so that's good for them. They lost Diggs. I think one thing I did notice I didn't write it down, but we all were pretty confident in the Texans going into this season as far as being one of the best teams in the AFC. That was where we all were pretty wrong about that. It shows in some of us even picking the Texans to get to the AFC Championship game, which we'll see at the end of this podcast if that's still the case. Let's look at the other. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Just one more quick thing about the running game. Damian Pierce had 176 yards. I know it was the Titans and they weren't exactly, trying their hardest to win, but he hadn't had more than 8 carries in a game all season. And maybe if Mixon isn't, doing it, maybe throw Pierce in there a little bit and see, he broke off a 92-yard run. So that's more than Mixon's had in like 2 weeks combined.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe just see if he can give you anything.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, I agree. I would almost go with Pierce a little bit. Try to give them both kind of like a couple carries and see who's the hot running back and just go with that because that's the only way. The problem is the Chargers they do have one of the best defenses in the league. We talked about them having the #1 scoring defense. So just to go off of that, maybe just let's look at the Chargers angle on this. Maybe we could start with you, Clint. What do you think the Chargers need to do in order to win this game?
I think it's similar. They need to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
it just control. That's what the Chargers do. I mean, we know Harbaugh teams from San Diego State to San Francisco to Michigan to now Chargers. If they can run the ball, we've seen, we've all had high view of Justin Herbert, but he just hasn't had the coaching. But you see when they get the running game going, even though they have limited weapons, his accuracy, his arm is just very few can match it. So if they can run the ball, it opens up everything else for them.
Yeah, I agree. Especially Herbert's been really good too lately, like which is nice. Anything Rowan to add as far as with the Chargers?
Not too much. Kind of just, yeah, run the ball and open up the play action more.
Yeah, no,
I
I
mean, you trust Herbert with the ball if he has to have it. So, I mean, if you can run the ball and establish that, obviously they're in a great spot.
no, I totally understand. I agree with you on that. Anything, Chris, for you for the Chargers?
I would just say, no fluke turnovers. Herbert's only had 3 interceptions this year, so I'm not too worried about that. Drop passes, the receivers, Quinn Johnson, that's been a big problem with him.
Mhm.
He goes up and down. He has great games and then truly horrible games where he stacks drops on top of each other. Like those would be the things that would lose a playoff game for them as the, should be favorite is like dumb penalties, drop passes, turnovers. Like, but again, with the Harbaugh team, I'm not too worried about like penalties and stuff like that. But just, playoff game on the road, that's sort of fluke things that could happen. Also, try not to get guys injured. Look out for the Texans because they're going to be looking to take out people. And so stay healthy and move on to the next game with your key guys intact.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I don't know about you guys, but like obviously the defense has to make sure like CJ Stroud can't extend the play, right? You got to keep him contained, just like you would any mobile quarterback. I think that's an obvious one. Stroud has not been that impressive this year. Like I think he played almost better last year, and he's kind of had like a sophomore slump. So I'm with you guys on just the Chargers making life difficult for Stroud and running the ball, getting that play action going. So let's just go ahead and predict this game. It's not like one of the more compelling games, that's for sure. So before I say anything else to add regarding this game,
just
coaching
that the Texans, this is the 8th time they've been in the Saturday afternoon slot, going back like 13 years.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think was that you, Rowan, that told me that where they've always had the Saturday afternoon. Yeah, that's kind of hilarious. By the way, on our podcast, somebody predicted that the Chargers would win 10 games this year. Guess who that was? Me. Let's go. Now, I did not pick them to make the playoffs, so I said they would win 10 games and not make the playoffs. I was wrong about that, but I had to.
So who is your division winner?
The Chiefs, I thought, would win the division.
For the Texans? Oh,
no,
no,
Chargers. The Chargers. Yeah.
Bad.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick this game. Rowan, who do you have, Texans or Chargers?
Chargers.
Clint?
Chargers.
Chris?
I think it's going to be Chargers 27, Texans 13.
Yeah, I honestly think this might be like kind of like a 2-score game as well. I'm gonna go Chargers. Okay. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.